think he was joking about turning up the cell phones. Peter. I'm reading from a book called Last One Out. It's my fourth book. My first two books were collections of sonnets that were embedded in various sequences as chapters, as titles and chapters, and they used a variety of techniques, including characters and ironic distance and all sorts of things. My third book, Caligula, was a little bit different. It had a few sonnets, but it embraced a wider variety of forms and techniques. And it was really about the Caligulan experience, as I coined it, which is the modern sense of anxiety and helplessness that is like death by 1,000 cuts that so many people feel. This being my fourth is a little bit different. It's also unusual in the sense that there are poems in here that span over 10 years, which is the 10 years I've had since 60 Sonnets appeared in 2009. The first chapter, which I'm going to be reading a few poems from, concerns memories of my father, also one of my mother. That's very unusual for me, and I'll remark on that in just a second. The final chapter, the seventh, I'll also be reading from, with maybe a short stop in between. Consists of poems anticipating the birth of my son and then written after he was born. That's also unusual. The reason that they're unusual is that I don't usually write personal poems. And they're certainly not in any way confessional per se, but I think you'll understand what I'm doing with them when I try to find the symbolic depth of my own memories. This one's called My Father's Dante. That particular Dante is what's called the California Dante, with Mary Bozier's illustrations, translated by Mandelbaum. And like many of his books that I kept after he died, it took me years to get around to reading it. But there's a great experience reading a book that belonged to someone you loved who's no longer there. My Father's Dante. You were gone 20 years before I read the book that draws me faster on to you. The world you left got worse and crowded too. Charon capsized by cargoes of new dead. I'm midway gone, in a grim winter mood, pinned by all I did instead of what I could. Among the lessons I failed till now to learn is that, however handsome or witty, we should expect to receive no pity. We hurt as much from what we half forget as from the things we carefully conserve. You say, there is so much more to observe. We will descend and see, and not regret that we fall. We shiver, we shine, and burn.